Your conference is being recorded.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Vidya, moderator for the conference call. Welcome to Nava Limited Q3 FY23 earnings conference call hosted by DAM Capital Advisors Limited. As a reminder, all participants will be in listen-only mode and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need any assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone telephone. Please note, this conference is recorded. I would now like to hand over the floor to Mr. Mohit Kumar from DAM Capital. Thank you and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vidya. On behalf of DAM Capital, we welcome you to the Q3 FY23 earnings call of Nava Limited. From management, today we have with us Mr. Ashwin Devineni, Chief Executive Officer, Mr. G.R.K. Prasad, Executive Director, Mr. Sultan A. Bag, Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Nikhil Devineni, Senior Vice President, Mr. V.S.N. Raju, Company Secretary and Vice President. Before we go on to the main call, I would like to read the standard disclaimer. There may be forward-looking statements about the company and its subsidiaries, which are based on the beliefs, opinions, and expectations of the company management as of the date of this press release. The company do not assume any obligation to update their forward-looking statements if those beliefs, opinions, expectations, or other circumstances should change. These statements are not guarantees of future performance and involve risks and uncertainties that are difficult to predict. Consequently, readers should not place any undue reliance on such forward-looking statements. We will start with the brief opening remarks, which will be followed by Q&A. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mohit. A very good evening and a warm welcome to all the participants. The statement of financial results both on standalone and consolidated basis detailing the operations of the Nava Group for Q3 FY23 has already been filed with the stock exchanges and posted on our website. I hope you have had a look at them and trust that they provide adequate information on our performance for the quarter ending 31st December 2022. Given the above, we would like to proceed with the question and answer session and request you all to seek clarification as you may desire. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. If you have a question, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad and wait for your turn to ask the question. If you would like to withdraw your request, you may do so by pressing star and 1 again. We will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question comes from Kalpesh Agarwal, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Is my voice audible?
Yes, please.
Yeah, hello. I guess the numbers are very good for 9 months ended on a consolidated basis. And congratulations to the team for the good numbers. We are holding your shares since 2013 now, sir. And in this last 10 years, we have received 22 rupees dividend and cumulative dividend. Now, when I go through a certain of the notification you sent on exchanges, you said that we have won the tribunal award from, consent order. Right? I want to understand that by August, you are entitled to receive that whole amount. Plus, we have a land parcel which is, in Hyderabad, which you are able to realize in a coming years. And plus, this 9 months we have around 900 crores of a PAT number. right? So it is a total, if we just took a calculation, it comes to around, say, 4,000, 5,000 crores of cash flows, which is going to come to you in, say, 1 year down the line. We want to understand that, what is the company's roadmap for this 5,000 crores? Because the dividend, I said 22 rupees, 14 crore shares, that hardly 300 crore dividend which we have distributed, and some buyback we have done, that total will not be more than, say, 700, 800 crores in last 10 years. We want to understand this 5,000 crore comes in. We have only one mine. You, from your previous call, have said about one manganese mine. Besides that, there is nothing coming up in the company's capacity. I want to understand if there is any roadmap for the company, or we will wait for that amount to come and then we will decide. But during that time, our balance sheet will look, ROEs and ROC numbers. Because currently also when we look at the numbers, 1,000 crore kind of a PAT, our company is trading at only 3 times.
Can you please get to the question?
Yes, I want to understand what is the roadmap, sir, for the future?
Okay, understood. So, like you mentioned, we are financially healthy. We've always reported a healthy profit. In terms of, bulk payments being received, you're right, both the land parcel, which would, materialize, which will take some time, but eventually materialize, will get us a good amount, but also the arbitration consent award. Now, with regards to the company's growth path, we have reiterated in previous calls that we are expanding within our current verticals. Some of the expansions include, expansion of ferroalloy division at Ivory Coast, expansion possibly in the power division in Zambia, expanding our 300 megawatt capacity to something higher. Also, in the agricultural sector in Zambia. So all these require capital, and some of the proceeds of the amounts that are being received or will be received will be utilized towards these expansions. And then the remainder of it, definitely, we will look at certain corporate actions that will improve shareholder value, which includes dividend distribution amongst various others.
Okay. But don't you think we are too late to start something at this point of time? Because I want to understand that, over the call from last 3 or 4 calls, we have been asking the same question and we have been replying, but not a single amount has been allocated till date for any kind of a number. What we want to understand is that we waited patiently for that MCL to get operationalized and, rationalized. That looks on the, thing. But I guess during the difference between standalone and Concall number is more to do with Mamba, which has performed exceedingly well, which we can see from the result and the power segment. But we as an investor are a bit worried that there is no proper guidance given by the company in terms of absolute quantity of ferroalloys you want to expand. What megawatt you are looking at? Any concrete will be much appreciated, sir.
Yeah, we do see where you're coming from, but for a lot of these capital expansions, including ferroalloys and power, there is a lot of due diligence work that goes in. You would appreciate that we are not one of those companies that announce large numbers, get into projects, take on huge debt, and end up like a lot of the other companies that have ended up in the space we're currently in. So it's not that we've not done anything. There's a lot of homework, there's a lot of work going on in the various areas that we are expanding. But in due course, when we finalize on exactly what the number is in terms of capacity or capital outlay, we will let the wider investors know.
Or can we expect a big dividend in FY24, sir? Is it the right platform to ask at this point of time, or we shall wait?
See, it is a little premature for me to answer that because it is dependent on certain cash flows coming in. So the land sale, like I said, it's a large chunk. It will take some time. And even with respect to Mamba, we first need to get the utility to pay Mamba. Mamba needs to declare the dividends, and then we can announce it. So It's in our mind, but in terms of timing, it's difficult for us to commit at this stage.
Okay, thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you, sir. The next question comes from Nikhil Abhyankar from DAM Capital. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity, sir, and congrats on a good set of numbers. First of all, I want to understand where is this extra profit coming in? Why has our EBITDA margin expanded in this quarter?
Okay. Can you repeat the question, Nikhil? We can't hear you.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, can you repeat the question? We were unable to hear you.
What is the reason for this almost 9 percentage point expansion in our EBITDA margins for this quarter?
Hi, Nikhil. Thanks for your question. The primary reason for additional margin in the quarter is better performance of Mamba Collieries. One on the sales, which is slightly higher because we had a US CPI increment on the sale tariff to ZESCO, and also slightly higher realization on the sales to SAPP. And if you may go through the notes, you would also find that we have not made any provision on the expected credit loss because the dispute with ZESCO has been resolved. So both these factors are contributing to the additional margin in the quarter.
Okay. And so back to the arbitration question, sir, the excess amount that we're going to receive, so that is only till May 22. So is the payment regular for period after May 22?
Yes, Nikhil. We have been receiving payments regularly as per the new tariff from ZESCO. There has been absolutely no default.
Okay. And so what is the debt payment schedule?
Debt, as we declared in the financials, we have 5 overdue installments to be paid on the Mamba Collieries side. As of 30th December, we were able to pay 1 installment. Post that, we were able to make some small payment. But once we receive some amounts from ZESCO against arbitration proceeds, we will clear the outstandings.
Okay. And we were thinking already of restructuring the debt. So any progress on that?
It's too premature for us to answer that, Nikhil, because it depends upon the realization and the lender's discussion.
Okay, understood. And now what the Indian top
Nikhil, I think you're taking too many questions.
Okay, sure, sir. I'll get back in the queue.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. I repeat, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. We have a question from Yash Sarda from Sushil Finance. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. I had a couple of questions. My first question would be, looking at the quarterly results, the margins in the ferroalloy business have reduced drastically. I'm guessing a part of the reason would be since you have terminated the contract with Tata Steel. And so could you throw some more light as to when can we achieve the same levels and the margin front which we used to achieve with Tata Steel? How long will it take us and the roadmap ahead for that same?
Sorry, can you repeat your second question, please, with relating to Tata Steel?
So we ended the contract agreement with Tata Steel, right?
Correct.
So I wanted to understand, so our margins have reduced drastically in the ferroalloy business.
Okay.
So what is the roadmap going ahead? When will we be able to match the margins of that of Tata Steel and then beyond?
Okay, got it. So Yash, firstly, thank you for your question. I think, as you rightly pointed out, Q3 has been an extremely challenging period for all bulk alloy producers across the country and world over. There were 2 main contributing factors. One was with respect to the sales price falling by almost 15% from Q2 to Q3. This, coupled with significantly high raw material costs, has impacted margins very badly. Now, going forward, fortunately, there's been a big drop in raw material costs. In this particular case, it's with respect to manganese ore, which has dropped by almost 50% quarter on quarter. And we are also witnessing an increase in sales price from Q3 to Q4 by about 10%. So both these factors put together, we are bullish on the way forward for the ferroalloys market. Now, coming to your second question, you see, with Tata Steel, the margins were fixed, despite how the market behaves, whether there is an up or sometimes when there was a down, the margins was also cancelled by Tata's. In this case, we stand to benefit from any increase in the market because we are doing the entire production and marketing on our own. Secondly, the switchover to silicomanganese in Odisha was based on long-term planning. The main purpose was to increase our market share in the manganese alloy segment. As you may be aware, currently there's been a 5.5% increase in steel production in India at 124 million tons. This figure is slated to increase to 300 million tons by 2030, as per the National Steel Policy Association. So, going forward, we wish to, enhance the market share in this particular segment.
All right. My second question, the question would be, the management has entered into businesses like healthcare and agri. So, what exactly is the management thought process? Given as a shareholder, if I'm investing in a company which is into ferroalloys and power, I'm looking at the company which should be focusing on its core and dedicating 100% of their time and effort into the same business. Because earlier also we faced an issue when we entered the sugar industry and we took an exit in that business and still we have an asset of around 25 odd crores which are still lying on our books and we are not able to monetize those same. So, I don't really understand the framework. If the management sees this might not be the expertise of the management since they're coming from a power business. And healthcare is totally different. So it's booming in India, but something very unrelated, so I wanted to get your views on that.
No, I think, we'll have to correct you on the sugar part of things, which I think the CFO will take. But with regards to our strategy of diversification, you need to understand that while we are in power, we are in thermal-based, coal-based power. The scope of expanding and constructing new coal-based power plants in India or many other parts of the world, I think apart from Africa, are extremely limited. Now, it's not like we're not expanding on the power side, like I just talked about the expansion possibly in Zambia, and also on the ferroalloy side, we're looking to expand at Ivory Coast, where we also have security of our raw material. So while we expand in these verticals, I think it's always healthy for companies to look at new upcoming verticals, plant their seeds, and which we see could yield good benefits, say 3 to 5 years, 10 years down the line. And that's one of the reasons why, one, in the agricultural side, we've gotten into, avocado growing in Zambia, and also on the healthcare side, we're in Singapore and Malaysia.
And regarding the sugar business, you'll have to understand the history. We've been in the sugar production for almost 4 decades. And one of the reasons for us to come out of the business was non-availability of the sugar cane in that region, and it was difficult for us to operate on such a large scale. And we have monetized all the assets at the sugar division above the book value and realized profit on that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. If I can just ask one final question.
Please go ahead.
I just want to understand, since you are receiving 518 odd million from Resco, so what are the consent timelines? Like, is it, if you just give us some numbers on quarterly basis, how much will we be receiving from them? So I think that would be better for us to roadmap the debt restructuring, which you guys would be doing by paying off the interest or something of that sort. The paying of the debt, sorry. And it is
Yes, point taken. As and when we are realizing the amounts from ZESCO, we are declaring to the stock exchanges.
Okay, so I think it's safe to assume that we guys have received only $10 million as an upfront payment from them, right? Out of 18 million?
Yes.
Okay, so we are still spending $500 million. Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. I repeat, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. We have a question from Samir Shah, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir, I wanted to ask 518 million, the agreement that we've done with Zambia, have we offered them any discount on that?
Yeah, we've offered them, so the entire outstanding includes principal and interest. We offered them a $60 million discount on it.
60?
60.
Okay. And there was a tariff rationalization with ZESCO. At that time, was it a unilateral concession from our side, or was there a quid pro quo where they extended the concession tenure?
No. So firstly, with regard to the previous answer, the total outstanding initially was 578. So when I talk about a $60 million discount, the number you have mentioned factors in the discount. Okay?
Okay.
And the second question, sorry, could you repeat it?
Yeah, I was saying that the tariff rationalization earlier that we did, where we reduced the tariff for ZESCO, was that a unilateral concession from our side, or did ZESCO also increase the tenure of our agreement to compensate us, or something of that sort? Was there any quid pro quo?
No. So we had very lengthy discussions and negotiations. We looked at, basically our numbers. ZESCO looked at their payment profile, and then we are in the process of amending our existing PPA. There's no increase in tenure.
There's no increase in tenure. And in the arbitration, you said 518 is net of the $60 million. There was some tax component also which has to be reduced from that.
That's right. Yeah, there's a VAT component which, in essence, we were paying. So basically, ZESCO used to pay us the money, and then a part of that money we used to use to pay the VAT. Now, what we have agreed with ZESCO is they will be liable to pay the VAT directly to the government.
Okay. So in essence, there is no discount concession on that. It's just a methodology change.
Exactly. And basically, the outflow from ZESCO to us would be slightly less because they wouldn't have to pay us the VAT component. They could deal with it directly with the government.
Okay. Okay. All right. Got it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next question comes from Vijay P., an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Strangely, this time after declaring the results, the company has not issued a press release. So the investors are not aware of the happenings in the last 3 months in the production front, sales front, etc. You had made an announcement that the Odisha ferroalloy plant will be shut from 1st November for conversion from ferrochrome to silicomanganese. Is the conversion over? The plant producing silicomanganese now?
The conversion agreement with Tata ceased on 31st of October, post which...
I was talking about... No. I was not talking about the ferrochrome conversion. I was talking about the change in the production plan from ferrochrome to silicomanganese.
So, are you asking me if that's taken place?
No, I'm asking you whether the plant is now started producing silicomanganese.
Yes.
If yes, from when? And from when? And then if it is started producing, what is the production in the last quarter?
So the production began from 15th of December of last year, and the monthly production currently is at 4,000 tons.
4,000 is a targeted ton. So it's going to produce 75,000 rated capacity for the year?
No, 4,000 is the actual monthly production as of now.
So we are targeting 75,000 on a full year, on 12 months basis.
No, see, 75,000 was the rated capacity when it came to the ferrochrome operations. Currently, the specific power consumption in silicomanganese is far higher. And as a result of that, the production, the actual production of silicomanganese is far lesser than what it used to be with ferrochrome. So what we are essentially targeting is about 50,000 tons per annum of silicomanganese.
Thank you. That helps. Now, regarding the plans to produce silicomanganese in Ivory Coast, what is the capacity the company is looking at?
It's extremely premature at this juncture to comment on that because the plan to expand hinges on whether or not the mine that we currently have proves to be successful in two aspects, one with respect to quality and the other with quantity. Currently, we are in the process of exploration. The Phase B works have begun. So in about 6 months' time, we should be having clarity on that.
So the mine is not producing anything as of now?
No, it's not.
Okay. Last question is about the Zambia coal-based power plant. In the past, once the company had stated that producing any more power from coal, even the Chinese companies are not ready to supply plant and machinery because of the stigma associated with it. So if we are looking at expanding the capacity from 300 to maybe say 600 megawatt, who will be supplying the plant and machinery? Or is Nava going to source it from India?
No. So with regards to what we said previously, I don't think it was to deal with Chinese equipment. It was to deal with Chinese money and lending. I think Chinese banks are right now refraining from lending towards any coal-fired power projects. But Chinese equipment suppliers are still producing, the BTG packages. So while we are exploring the expansion, we are looking at both Chinese vendors, Indian vendors, and other vendors, and we'll basically zero down on the most cost-effective solution.
Sorry, if you may allow me, I'll ask one more question. When the consent terms were signed with ZESCO, they have made a token payment of only 10 million so far. We are already about a month and a half from that date of award, and we have got about 7 months left and to receive about $500 million. Is there any roadmap or is there any payment schedule, is there any payment calendar?
Yeah, so I mean, as far as ZESCO is concerned, they're not defaulting on the payment terms. The end of August marks the time where they will basically pay the entire amount. They have till then. So that's what they're sticking to.
So there is no monthly payment schedule?
No, there's no monthly payment schedule. There are a couple of interim payments now and then, but I think the main number or the date to keep in mind is August, which is the significant one.
Yeah, thank you very much. That will be all from my side.
Thank you, sir. The next question comes from Mohit Rathi from CCIPL. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Is there any update on the monetization of your land in Nacharam?
We engaged JLL basically to, monetize the land, and the works are underway. So there's nothing to report further than that. Like we indicated to you previously, this is a large parcel. It's going to take a little time, but JLL, being a reputed firm, is on it.
Okay. Sir, I had one more question. Our company has a history of buying back its shares as our shares are undervalued. And now since our situation is improved with the regular payments, can we expect some buyback or something like that?
See, I think, we've done this buyback twice, so it's not like we've done it several times. With regards to a further buyback, like I mentioned, once we see larger amounts come in due to various, actions or items that are due, we will definitely take corporate actions that will improve shareholder value, one being buyback. We will consider that.
Okay, sir. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you, sir. The next question comes from Vandana Rajpal from Axis Energy. Please go ahead.
Hi, I have two questions for the CEO. My first being, you stated that you're looking at expansion of your coal projects in Mamba. Right, so how do you plan to tie up the offtake for this, considering the fact that the Zambian government has not been very supportive of your earlier projects? My second question is, with the drive towards sustainability, how do you plan to tie up this debt, since most of the international lenders will not be willing to finance coal projects anymore? And my third question is around how do you plan, what are the sustainability initiatives that the company is taking to hold? Thank you.
Sorry, can you repeat? Can you repeat the question again? You have three questions. Can you be precise and just repeat the questions clearly?
You want me to repeat all the three?
Yes.
Yes. So my first question is around the expansion plans that you have stated, wherein you said that you would be expanding the capacity of the Zambia plant. So how do you plan to tie up the offtake of that plant, considering that the Zambian government has not been very supportive of the first investment made there, and there has been a good 60 mil that has been written off? My second question is on how do you plan to tie up debt for any further investments in the coal segment, considering that with the sustainability drive across the globe, capital would be difficult to get. My third question is on the sustainability initiatives being taken by the company. I do not see any in any of the filings of the company. If you could please elaborate on that. Thank you.
Okay. So on the first point with regards to the offtake, I don't think I agree with the point that the Zambian government has not been. Yes, in the past, I don't think we were receiving our payments duly. But since May 22, we've been receiving all our payments on time and in full. And the fact that we have reached this consent award through the arbitration tribunal clearly shows that there was consent, and things are different now. And both, I think, us and the Zambian government, including the utility, want this to work. You need to also keep in mind that while everyone talks about renewable, Zambia is 85% to 90% renewable, and that's one of the reasons why they're facing huge power crisis right now. Because of bad rains in the last 2 to 3 years, they almost have about 12 to 13 hours of power cuts on a daily basis. So there is a huge urge for us to expand by the Zambian government so that they can increase the base load. The other thing to add in terms of the offtake is what is different now is we have another offtaker. We are also now members of the Southern African Power Pool. So in the event the state utility is unable to offtake the power, we have the option to trade it in the SAPP network. The question regarding debt and coal, you are right. It's not as easy today to kind of raise debt on coal-based projects. But that being said, it's not impossible. I mean, there are not a lot of people expanding in coal, and the only people I think that are doing it is where there is an imminent need. And I think this is an area where the need currently exists. There is interest. We don't know if it's going to be with the existing set of lenders, but there definitely are parties that are still interested in financing coal projects as long as the margins are healthy. I don't understand the question. Sustainability initiatives. Yeah, in terms of the sustainability, correct me if I'm wrong, you're talking about the green initiatives taken by the company?
My reference is to any sustainability initiatives that are being taken up, considering that most of the projects are power intensive, which run on fossil fuels like coal.
Well, I think on the sustainability part, Nava, in the previous name, has had a good history in terms of how the operations would not impact the environment that's been operating. We have had several accolades going on in our way. In fact, in Mamba too, in Zambia too, though it's a large plant, there's been a transformational change which the company intends to pursue in all its projects, including the current proposed expansion. Yeah, and just to kind of add, just because we use the word coal, it doesn't, mean in terms of, it's not negative, because if you look at Zambia especially, the coal was being mined for customers that were buying the high-grade coal. But what we do is take the low-grade coal that was previously termed as waste and which was just burning, and we feed it to our power plant. We capture 100% of the ash. We recycle 100% of the water, and therefore, preventing the environment from being polluted by, sulfur and so on emissions. So it is actually an environment abatement action that we've done, and this is something that we follow in all our operations.
That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next question comes from P. Anirudh, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. I would like to ask my questions regarding the power sector, the domestic power business the company has. Last time I remember in the call, we were told that NBEIL was shut due to lack of availability, coal availability, coupled with poor tariffs. Would appreciate if the management could throw some light on the prevailing situation and also the outlook for the future.
Yeah. No, Bharat Energy went through that stress of low coal availability as well as unremunerative prices of power on the IEX. So the operations were definitely impacted in the previous quarters. What we decided was to use the time to undertake a major overhaul which has been planned in the month of November. So the unit has been taken for that major overhaul, and it will be resuming generation later this month, by end of this month. And this period has been advantageously utilized by the company to stock up. So we expect that unit to be ready when real uptake is likely in the IEX markets from March onwards. So we expect at least reasonable performance in the next quarter or so. Let's see how it pans out. But I think that's where the company's 150 megawatt stands.
Thanks for that, sir. One more question I have. We've spoken about Mamba also selling power to the grid other than what is being given to the Zambian utility. So in the last quarter, were there any sales to the African grid? And what was the PLF for the last quarter, Mamba?
Mamba, the last quarter PLF was 99.5%. We've been fully operational. And about 20% power has been sold through SAPP platform.
That sounds very promising, sir. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. Wait, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. We have a follow-up question from Samir Shah, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Sir, I wanted to check with you, what is the tariff realization we've got on the South African power pool?
So we have an average of about 14 cents.
14 cents. And we would be with ZESCO at about 9 odd cents, right?
It's over, indexation took place. So right now our current tariff with ZESCO is slightly over 10 cents.
Over 10 cents. Okay. And about NBEIL, we've been going through the hoops in terms of, trying to sell it to merchant power whenever the price is right. And then there is a non-peak period where, we are not able to utilize the plant. Is there any long-term plan that you have for NBEIL versus this, yearly merry-go-round?
You're right. At this point, that's merry-go-round, but I think what we are trying to see is whether we can have a long-term tie-up for coal on alternative schemes. The government is talking about some schemes, so once we have some such scheme, which probably could be tied with some kind of PPA as well, I think long-term sustenance should come in. But we can't tell you any timeline, but the efforts are in those directions.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. We have a follow-up question from P. Vijay, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. My question is, we seem to have forgotten about the parcel of land in Kakinada, some 200 acres, which we were trying to put up some technology park or an export park or something. Is there anything further, any further developments on that, or is it in cold storage?
Yes, well, I don't think we've forgotten about it, Mr. Vijay. It's just that, we've had all these other actions that took precedence. Right now, we're also looking at, land values in Andhra Pradesh and so on, and they're not too attractive for any kind of sale at that stage. So I think we've been concentrating on the current efforts, and when things look better in Andhra Pradesh, I think we will take certain actions.
So we don't have any concrete plans as of now?
No, currently no.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. There are no further questions. Now, I hand over the floor to the management team for closing comments. Over to you.
Thank you very much for your participation in this discussion. I hope we've addressed all your queries adequately. Or if there are any questions or clarifications that remain unanswered, please get back to us and we'll be happy to provide answers on a wider investors platform. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes your conference for today. Thank you for your participation and for using Doorsabha's conference call service. You may disconnect your lines now. Thank you and have a good day, everyone.